Hello, everyone. Welcome to CyberLink webinar again. I am Stephen. I'll be the instructor today for this 1-hour course. And I'm so happy to see you all on joining our webinar again. We're here doing live casting from Taiwan, Taipei, where CyberLink's headquarters locate. And we are welcoming all the friends who are joining us from US, from Canada, and we even see some friends from Europe, and of course from Australia and New Zealand. And it's now Wednesday morning in Taiwan, and I think it's Tuesday night in the States and Canada, and it's Wednesday afternoon in Australia and New Zealand. So hello to everyone, and I hope you will all enjoy today's course. Okay, before we start, we want to give you some quick reminder that we are using YouTube live stream to do the webinar broadcasting today. So if you encounter any glitches or freeze of the audio or video during the webinar broadcasting, don't panic. You can refresh your window. Usually this will help and get you a better video quality and continue streaming. And to assure you get the best video streaming quality, make sure you switch your viewing quality to HD 720p, where you can see this little setting up icon underneath the play window. Click on it and switch the quality to 720p, where you can get a much better video quality during the streaming. And we are having two of our colleagues helping with online support today to answer your questions. We have Elvis and Cami from our PM and our commerce team. So if you have any technical issues, or if you have any purchasing issues, or regarding the promotion, any question about the promotion or the issues of the course, don't hesitate. You can ask in the chat window at the right side of your play window that we will responding you. Because we got a lot of users today. Wow, we got more than 150 right now online. So we probably two people cannot handle all your questions at the same time. So be patient if your question not being answered right away. Okay, so now let's start today's course. Today's course we will split in 3 different sections. The first section we'll talk about using Keyframe in PowerDirector, including the introduction of Keyframe and the items you can control with Keyframe in PowerDirector. And the second part is a frequently used question. It's from our users, is how to get rid of the background of your videos and photos. So we will show you several different ways to remove the background in your video, including using mask or Chroma Key, and also a little trick that when your footage isn't shoot in front of a green screen, how can you remove it? How can you create a green screen using color director's motion tracking tool? Okay, and the third section we'll cover today is the advanced color grading skill, because we talk about color director. So we want to spend more time, around 25 minutes of time, to introduce color director and some frequently used skills in color grading to make your videos look better. So that's for today's course outline. All right, so let's start. The first section using Keyframe in PowerDirector. I think some of you might be familiar with PowerDirector already. Like I see Tony, he's our MVP, he's online with us right now. He probably is super familiar. But I think some people here probably be the first time joining our webinar, or you haven't used PowerDirector for quite a long time. So I'll give you guys a quick walkthrough of PowerDirector's user interface to let you know where to find which feature in PowerDirector. Okay, upon launching PowerDirector, you will see the user interface is being split in 3 different parts. So the top left part, you can see is, okay, the top left part you can see is our media room, where you have all your medias, like your photos, your videos, or music are stored here. And also you can find there are several different tabs by the left side, like the effects, where you can apply special effects, video effects to your video, and the PIP animated object, is a graphic or animated object that you can overlay on your videos. And this is particle effect. And if you want to add some titles to your video, you can also see here's a title room that you can create your title or use some of the existing titles in Power Director. And the sixth icon is transition, where you can overlay transition between clips. So you can select from a wide range of building transitions in Power Director, or you can create your own transition using a graphic. And the top right side is the preview window. So the preview window allows you to preview several different things, like the effects. Before applying it, you can see what the effects going on, what it looked like, or you can preview a content in your media library to see how you look like before adding to the timeline interface. And the most important is that you can preview the status and the content on your timeline in your production in progress on this preview window. Okay, and the bottom part is the most important interface of Power Director, where we call it's a timeline interface. So we'll give you a clearer introduction here. Okay, so upon launching Power Director, you will see the timeline is available in two different dimensions. And the x-axis, the horizontal one, means the time and frames, the time spans on your video project. So you'll see there are 4 digits of numbers on 4 sets of numbers on the timeline, which represents the hour, minute, second, and frame. Okay, so when you set your project in different frame rates, you will have a different number of frames in 1 second. For example, if you set your frame rate to 30 FPS, the NTSC standard, means within 1 second there will be 30 different frames, 30 freeze frames inside of 1 second. And the continuous 30 frames will compose a 1 second video on your video project. So that's the x-axis, the time and frames. And the second axis is tracks. The y-axis is tracks. So you can see the tracks are coming with numbers, like track number 1, 2, 3, etc. So you can add up to 100 tracks Power Director, and to overlay items over items. So for example, on track number 1, there's a background image, and track number 2, there's a PIP animated object, and on track number 3, there's a text object. So the video you'll get is like this. The globe animation is overlaid on the background, while the text is overlaid on the PIP object. So the larger number of the timeline track means it's on higher position or on higher layer of your Power Director's video object. So that's a simple introduction to let you guys know how to recognize the timeline interface, how to use it. Okay, now you understand what is frame, what is timeline tracks. So next, we'll talk about what is keyframe in Power Director. Okay, so keyframe is a very important concept in Power Director and all the other video editing software. So the major thing keyframe doing is that is the control of the change of the status in your video. So for example, here is a soccer in the video. At the starting, at 0 seconds, it's at the left side of the video, and at second number 5, it's at the right side of the video. In this case, the video editing software like Power Director will help adding the in-between frames between 0 and 5 seconds, so that when you see it, you think it's an animated object. Okay, so inside of Power Director, there are many things you can control with keyframe. That when the keyframe is available, you can use it to control the change of status. And the keyframe is showing in this little diamond-shaped icons in Power Director, which means that you set this keyframe, then it records the status at that frame, and then you set another keyframe, it will record another status. So between the keyframes, Power Director will help adding the in-between basing on the change of status gradually. Okay, so keyframe import director, we can use it to control many different things, like your PIP object, which is a animated or still the static object overlaying on your video. You can control the position, the scale, the opacity, or the rotation, or the transformation of the status of change. You can set it to keyframe. And for title, it's similar. You can control like position, scale, opacities, etc. And you can also use keyframe to control the effect. For example, you apply a blur effect on a video, and at the beginning it's blurred, and at the middle it becomes clear. And you can use keyframe to control the gradually change of status between these keyframes to make your video looking like gradually changing to some status by the effect they're applied. And also you can use keyframe to control particle effects and the strength of a fix enhance, like enhance the lighting, enhance the contrast. You can all use the keyframe to control that. Okay, so we'll give you a first demo of how keyframe work and how to use it in Power Director. So here's a simple example that we have a sucker in the video, and the beginning is at the left side, and throughout the 5 seconds, it's rolling to the right side. Okay, so this is a very standard case of what can be controlled by keyframe. Okay, so here you see on track number 1, there's a background image. So we want to add on track number 2 a soccer image that I drag and drop to track number 2. You see now the track number 2 item is overlaying on track number 1. The first thing I want to do is that I want to make it smaller, so I can use this control point to make it smaller and move it to the left. Okay, now we have a quick preview. Because we haven't set keyframe, so the ball is, the sucker is still and stay at the depth side. And next we'll show you how to control the animation of this sucker. So to control the keyframe, you need to enter the PIP designer room. To enter it, double click on this sucker object. So you enter this PIP designer room. Here you see at the bottom of the UI, here are a series of numbers you can control, like a position, like scale, opacity, rotation, etc. So we want at the beginning, it's at the left side. So we set at the 0 second, 1 keyframe, click on this diamond icon, you're at 1. And at the end point, second number 5, you add another keyframe. Then you move the sucker to the left. Okay, now let's see how you look like. Play. You see the sucker is moving from left to right. Okay, but what about we want this car? We want the sucker rolling. That how to control that? We got a simple setting here in the motion, and you can enter the motion tab. There's a rotation setting, so you can choose to rotate the ball clockwise or counterclockwise. And because it's rolling to the right side, so it should be clockwise. And I can change how many degrees I want it to roll. Say one run is 360 degrees, so maybe I'll set it to around 1,500. Okay, now let's take a look. You'll see the ball is rolling, but it should be going slightly faster. So I can scale it up a little bit. Like to use alternate 1. Okay, now let's take a look again. So you see now the sucker is rolling from left to right. So this is a typical keyframe control that at the left side there's a position status, at the right side there's another one. Okay, and there are a lot of other things you can control, like for example, I want the ball become bigger. So I can set the beginning at a keyframe and the right side at the ending another keyframe and scale up. Something like this. Okay, so you'll see throughout the video, the sucker will be rolling, moving, and become bigger. All right, so this is the basic concept of what things you can control with keyframe. So here's another example. This is the BBA animation we released previously on our learning center. And I think many of you probably already seen the new Star Wars 7 movie, and BBA is a new droid in that movie. So BBA is composed by a sapphire that as its body and a head, it's a head, okay? So when it's moving, you see the spires rolling, while the head is like moving in one single direction. So the way to do it is the same as a soccer animation, that we have one object is a body, the other object is a head. So body will apply the position change plus the rolling effect, while the head is only the position change. So you'll see the droid moving, rolling from right to left. And we also apply some animation on the background image to let it rolling from right to left, from left to right, so that it will create a sense of speed that your draw is moving much faster. Okay, so this is what we can control what we can control, use keyframe to control the PIP object. And this next example will show you another thing you can control with a keyframe is the effect you apply on the video. So take this clip for example. Okay, so at the beginning of the video, because we are overlaying some text on it, we want the background be blurred so that we can highlight the text. And when the text fade out, you'll see the background video became very clear. So the way to do it is the same, that we are adding a blur effect on this footage. You can go to effects and searching for motion blur. Okay, and to apply it, simply drag and drop it on the timeline clip. And because we already applied it, so you show a warning message. So once you apply to it, the whole footage should be always effect. Then next, you can go to the effect tab and see keyframe, where you can control the status of change. So like at the beginning of the video, we set the keyframe at 14, which is the blurred. And before the text is going out, we add another keyframe to change the status to 14. And right after that, we change it to 0, means there's no effect. And the end of the video, we also set it to 0. So you see the video is looking like this, that between keyframe 1 and 2 is blurred, and 2 and 3, it became clear suddenly, right away. Then to the end of the video is clear. Okay, so you can also use the keyframe to control the status and the strength of the effect you apply to video using this little trick. Okay, moving back to keyframe. So a quick reminder to you again, the thing you can control with keyframe, including PIP objects, titles, effects, particle effects, and the level of fix and enhancement. And today we only cover the PIP and effects, and we'll see if we get time in future webinar to introduce you how to control other items, other tools keyframe. All right, moving to the next section is removing the background in your video and photo. I know many of you have been asking this question to us, what if you want to remove something in your video? So here we're breaking into two different parts. The first part is using mask. So here's a quick example that, for example, this is your original video, and this is a mask, and the image being cropped by mask is showing like this. So it's showing only the circle part, the white part, that should be showing, while the black part is being masked. So it's not showing on the video. So now let's take a look how to use mask. So here's another silly example. It's the annoying orange. We actually released a little video a few days ago on our learning center for the annoying orange. And sorry, I don't have it right now, but we can do the demo. Okay, I think many of you have seen the annoying orange video on YouTube a few years ago. And how to do that? it's the same. The way we use is using the mask to put our eyes and mouth on the background image. So you see, I put my own face. It's a video on track number 2. Well, I look stupid. Okay. So to use a mask, double click on it. And you enter the same PIB designer room and select the mask tab. Okay, so here you can see, for example, I want to crop my face to heart shape. Then I select on the heart mask, and I can resize it, reposition it to the part I want. Okay, and in today's example, we want to crop the portion of eyes. So I'll go down to select this orbit shaped mask, where you can see a blur of edge is showing at the by the side. Then I can resize the mask and put it on the eyes position like this. Okay, so not only my eyes is showing, then I click save. Next step, I will move this object to the eye area of the video and maybe small it down, make it smaller. Okay, and now because my eye color is different from the orange, so I usually go to fix and enhance room, use the color adjustment tool or the white balance tool here to alter the color. For example, I change it to warmer color to make it blending to the background. So here see the eye is being overlaid on the video, and I can copy it and paste to next track. You see there are 2 eyes being added, and then I want to further adding one more mouth here. So because I already adjusted the color, so I copy and paste it again and double click on it. It's the same, it's an item being masked. So I can move back to mask and move the position of the mask to where my mouth is. Make it larger like this, click save. Then put the mouse to where the orange mouse should be, make it smaller. Okay, now you got the annoying orange. It's looking like this. Okay, so it's a typical example of how to use the mask to crop the certain section inside of a video you want to show and to remove other parts. But the mask, if you're using the mask, don't forget that it's only a still image. So it's not changing throughout the time. You cannot set keyframe on the mask by changing its size or changing its shape. Okay, and another example we will use mask is that you can not only using the built-in mask like the star type, the heart type, the heart shaped. You can also use your image to create a mask. And the best thing is that you can use a transparent image like the PNG image to create a mask with transparency. That, for example, like this video, it's looking nice. It's taking in a park in Taipei. And I think the movement of people looks nice, but the cloud looks a little bit calm. So I want to remove the cloud and say use this cloud, this very busy cloud instead. So the thing I'll need to do is that I need to get rid of the sky part while I want to keep the bottom part of the video, the building part and the grass. So to do that, you will need to create a mask only on this building area and remove the sky part. So to do that, first you need to get an image from this video. So to get the image from your video is moving on someplace on your video and click on this camera icon. And click capture, where you can see a new image has been added to the timeline, to the library. Next, you can move this image on your timeline because you want to edit it. Then click on it and click fix and enhance. We'll use another tool called the photo vector from CyberLink to do the background removal thing. So here you can see the image has been passed to photo director. And under the editing module, you will see here's a background removal tool. So click on it and move your mouse over the graphic. You'll see your mouse has become a cursor. You can scroll up the wheel or scroll down to adjust the size, and left click to select the area in your photos you want to remove. Okay. Okay, and when the selection is done, you can click on remove the selected area. So you'll see background has been removed. Okay, and you see there are some parts that are not so clean right now, like this part of the building is still showing the white edges. So you can click on this fine tune edge tool to brush on it. Then you'll see the blue part has been kept while the white part has been removed. And the same for here. You can use this tool to fine tune the edge to make the edge look smoother. And once it's done, you can click on back to send this image back to Power Director as a mask. Okay. And I just see, usually you will go back right away, but it seems there are some problem with my graphic card from Intel today. So I just have a crash on my Power Director. So don't worry, I'll restart that. Okay, so assume we click on the back icon, then the background remove image will be exported to Photo Director like this. Okay, so it has become an image, the PNG object, which is the image where the black part is transparent while the building part is showing. So next, we want to use the image to do the background removal trick. So double click on this image, on this video, go to mask, and where you can select create mask and select image you have just created. So for example, this one is an image I created. So see now, here's a mask being added to the video, and you can move it up and down to see what it looked like. Okay, so I move it down and see it has cropped the sky part while the building part is being remained, and click on save. You'll see now the building has get rid of the original video had been getting rid of the sky part, and it's using the sky is overlaying on to replace that. So the new video will look like this. Okay, so this type of trick to use image to cut out some part of your video while you want to remain some part, I would recommend that mainly using on the video of time lapse or on landscape, where the most part of your video is remaining in same position, while you only want to change a specific part, like the sky of your video. Because as we said earlier, that the keyframe, the mask, you cannot use keyframe to control its motion. So make sure that the part you crop throughout the video is remaining the same. Okay, so this is the use of a mask. Then next, we'll go to the introduction of how to use Chroma Key. So Chroma Key is a is a tool that you can use to remove the video you shoot in front of a green screen. So for example, this is footage of Jean-Claude Van Damme, and we remove the green part and putting in and overlaying on a background image. And how to do this? It's actually very simple. This is the footage shoot in front of a green screen. Double click on it, and you will again enter the PIP designer room. Go to Chroma Key and use this drop tool to select it. So you see now the background has been removed. Okay, and you can adjust the hue and saturation, the tolerance of hue and saturation a little bit higher to make sure that it's being removed pretty clean. And you can adjust, you can tweak with the edge sharpness a little bit to make sure your background removed video is blending to the background. So click on save. You see now you're back to timeline, and the footage at the front is being overlaid on the background. Okay, now it's our last demonstration. That what if this video isn't without is not shooting in front of a green screen like this John Travolta footage. I don't know, this thing just went quite viral starting last November, that people are making fun of this John Travolta footage from the movie Pulp Fiction. So we actually made a tutorial for that. If you want to see it in detail, you can go to CyberLink's Center, and I'll give you a quick introduction how to do this. So to make this trick, we want to find where John Travolta is and check it and change the part of the background all to green. And to do this, you will need the tool called motion tracking in Color Director or another software. So to launch Color Director from Power Director, it's pretty simple. You can select the object, click Fix and Enhance, and click on Color Director. And the footage will be passing to Color Director right away. Then next, we want to use a tool called motion tracking in Color Director to track John Travolta's shape throughout the video. So we select on this motion tracking icon. Move on the video, you'll see your mouse has become a brush. So you can use the brush tool to select Travolta and the video. Once the selection is done with the first frame, you can click on this track icon, start motion tracking icon. So you'll see now Color Director is tracking throughout the video the shape of John Travolta. Okay, and we still see some parts are not so perfect, like here. It's shouldn't be showing the part is a part of the wall, but because the color is too close to the forehead, so it's being selected. So you can select the erase tool to remove that a little bit too much. So I go back to brush tool to remove it back, to edit back. Okay, and following the same method, you can move back frame by frame if you want to make the background removal more precise. And because we don't have much time for today's demo, so I'll just give a quick fix like this. Okay, I'm not going to make it very precise. Okay, now that you have selected Travolta throughout the footage, the next thing we want to do is to make the background all in green. So the first thing is that I will click on the revise mask. The inverse mask, where you will see the selection area, the red mask has been moving to the background. Okay, so to create a green screen, we want to make the background, the selected part, in unified color. So usually I will just turn down the exposure and brightness and turn on the contrast to make sure the background has become totally black. Then the next thing I'll do is that I scroll down to the color placement tool, use the drop tool to select the black part and change it to green. You see still some black part is being showed, so you can set higher the tolerance to make sure that all the black part has turned into green. So take a look. Now that there's a green screen footage have been created, okay, and still because we didn't make it very precise due to time, so you can like going back to move this part that shouldn't be selected on the video and remove that. And once it's done, okay, you can also like applying the feather effect to make the edge less sharp here. And once it's done, click on back. You'll send this footage back to Power Director like this. Okay. And the next thing is the same. We want to get rid of the background. So double click on it and go to Chroma Key and select the green part. So you'll see now the background has been removed from the John Travolta footage. Okay, so this is a little trick to use Color Director to do the background removal. So a quick recap again. To remove your background of the video, you can use, first is using mask. You can use a building mask or creating a mask using a PNG image that to crop a specific area in your video. And also, if the video is shooting in front of a green screen, you can use the Chroma Key tool to remove the background. And if it's not, and if the shape is trackable, you can use Color Director's motion tracking to select the main object and change the background or to green. All right, so this is for the second part. Now we are moving to the third part. The last part of today's demo is using Color Director to do color grading. Okay, I think many of you joined today are long-time user for Power Director. So you probably already know that we got a lot of tools in Power Director, which allows you to adjust things like the exposure, brightness, contrast, or saturation, etc. of your video. And also you can use Power Director to control the color temperature or tint or do white balancing. Okay, and the thing that Power Director do to do the color adjustment is that it's applying the adjustment on the entire video. So you can not do things like I want some part of the video being adjusted, some part untouched. It cannot be done with Power Director. So this is one of the major difference between Power Director and Color Director, is that Color Director allows you to adjust the color globally or regionally. So the global adjustment is the same. It's got tools like white balance tone, and it's got the HDR effect and curve tool and split toning, color replacement like we see in the John Travolta demo, and tint filter to make your video into a unified color. Okay, so this is global adjustment, and also we have several different tools to do regional adjustment, like to adjust the color in specific shape, or use a motion tracker to track the object movement and adjust the part you want, or you can apply things like the gradient mask or radial mask to adjust different type of video under different type of situation. Okay, and the best thing about Power Director and Color Director is the support for round-trip editing. So the logic is like this. When I'm editing a video project using Power Director, and during my editing, I want to retouch, I want to change or adjust the color of a single clip. And in previous case, if you're using other software, you need to go to the color adjustment software to do the color adjustment and to do the rendering, then put it back to your video editing project to continue the editing. But with Power Director's round-trip editing with Color Director, it's become very simple. That I'm editing and I want to adjust some clip, I can select it and click on Fix and Enhance and pass it to Color Director right away, and to do the color grading, color adjustment test. Once it's done, you can click on the back button. Then the adjusted footage will be passing back to Power Director without the need of rendering. It's just the adjustment parameter has been added to the footage. Then the final render will be done with the Power Director when you are about to produce the entire video. So the same, if you're familiar with Power Director, you know how fast it renders. So if you render with Power Director, means you're using the 64-bit True Velocity 5 engine to render your video, including the color adjustment settings. So this is what the round-trip editing look like. All right, so now let's go to the color adjustment thing. The first thing we want to share with you is about the color. the color temperatures. So we know in different time of the day or under different light conditions, and even in different locations in the world, there will be different color temperature. So for example, if you're in a room with candlelight or incandescent light, that the room the color is warm, but it's a little bit dark. While under the daylight, everything become bright and white. That the color temperature is in the middle. It's the white tone. And if you're in a snow field, or if you are standing under the shadow of a bright sky, say you're standing under the roof of a building, that everything looks blue, and the color temperature is in blue tone. It's higher color temperature. So the same logic, like in the Nordic region, the color is colder, and in tropical region, color is warmer, and in summer, color is warmer, while in winter, color is colder. So that's the logic. So the color adjustment and the color temperature thing are used to create an atmosphere of video in many cases. So let's use this example. These are the nominees for this year's Oscar Cinematography Award. And I think the final winner is The Revenant, or the Max. Oh no, it should be Mad Max. Okay, so you can see on different movie they got different light setting. Like Carol, that movie is in warm tone. Well, the tone is pretty warm. That is usually shoot in the indoor lights in warm color. And Mad Max is scenario is setting in the desert area. So the light is bright. It's usually in sunrise, sunset time. The light is very bright and warm. And the Sicario, the background is set in Mexico. So, well, you know, people in America always think that Mexico, the color is white plus a little bit yellow. It's warm color. So the Sicario, you see this kind of bright white tone plus a little bit yellow mixed inside. And for the Hateful Eight and the Revenant, the background is setting in mainly in snowfield, so you can see everything tend to be white, also a little bit blue on the color tone. So we'll show you the first demo is how to adjust the color temperature. Here's the original footage under standard indoor light, and we want to change the setting to make the footage look like it's shooting in 4 different seasons. So like in the spring, the light is brighter and the vibrancy is higher, and in summer it's warmer, in winter it's colder. Okay, and actually you can do this adjustment with Power Director. You don't need the color director if you only want to adjust the color temperature. So go to open this project. Okay, now you will see here's original footage, and we change it to spring tone, summer, fall, and winter. Okay, how to do this? Actually very simple. I put this footage to timeline. So to adjust the color, okay, so to adjust the color, click on it and go to Fix and Enhancement. Here you'll see the tab, Video Enhancement and Color Adjustment and White Balance. So for the spring, we want the light be brighter. So you can go to Color Adjustment, set the brightness higher a little. Okay. Then, because in spring everything tend to be bright and colorful, the flowers are blooming, etc. So we want to change the vibrancy higher to make the green more greener and the sky is bluer and the flower, the red, redder. While because they are skiing inside of the video, so we don't want to change too much of the skin color. In normal sense, you want to adjust the saturation, but you'll see the skin part has been touched as well, also, which look very unnatural. So we'll use the vibrancy which will remain the skin color while enhance the other part in the video. So here is the adjusted video. So this is the tone of a spring. Then next, what about summer? Summer, all the color is pretty warm. So we go to color temperature under white balance, and we change it to a warmer color. We want to add a little bit rosier tone. So adjust the tint a little bit. So you can see now the color has become like in summer. And what about in fall? Okay, in fall, because mostly the weather is cloudy day or rainy day. So we'll go to color adjustment to set the brightness a little lower. While the weather in fall is still a little warm, so we'll set the color temperature a little higher. So this is color of fall. And last, we want to change the color of a winter tone. So the winter color is simply cold. So we go to white balance and change it to colder tone. Okay, so now let's take a look again. This is the original color and the spring tone, summer, fall, and winter. Okay, so it's very easy that you can use this color adjustment tool and white balance tool in Powder to do some simple adjustment. But as mentioned earlier, that the adjustment is adjust the entire footage. What about I want to adjust only some part of the video? Take this tulips footage, for example. I think it shouldn't. The video was shot in very sunny day, but the sky color, I think, should be bluer. I want to enhance the saturation of the blue part, while I don't want to touch other part. So to do this, you cannot use a powder to do everything, because if you enhance the saturation, everything will go up. So you'll see the flower be bloody, what you don't want. So to do the adjustment, we will need color director. And the way to launch color director inside of a color director is select on it, click fix and enhance, click on color director. Then you're passing the footage to color director. Okay, now we will want to retouch the blue part. So we go to the saturation tab under global adjustment and select on this pointing selection device. Move it to the green part, the blue part. Left click your mouse and drag up. You see the change right now? When you drag up, the blue part has enhanced. Okay, now I press the left key and drag down. The color of sky has been removed. While you see the color of the tulips and the color of the windmill is not touched. Okay, so for example, I want the sky be very blue. I want the grass, the leaf greener, while I don't want the tulip to be so bright. Okay, so now you can see a before and after difference. This is the original footage. This is the edited footage. The sky is standing out. And once your edit is done, you can click on back. Then you'll see the adjusted footage has been passing back to Power Director. Then you can continue to do the editing of other clips. And when you're about to render the entire project to a video, you can use Power Director's rendering engine to do the rendering. Okay, so this is a scenario what the Power Director is working with Color Director. And you can not only using Color Director as a companion app aside from Power Director, you can also use it as a standalone app. So here we will show you how to do that with this example, that we want to create a tilt shift effect using a gradient mask. So you probably have seen the BBC drama series Sherlock. That I like the opening theme of that drama series. That it's mainly taking London's landscape, but it's using the tilt shift technique that at the side of the video look blurred while the center part is clear. So it's like you are having your camera shooting a miniature model of the city. So we will show you how to do this to make top and left down in blur while the center part remain clear using the gradient mask. So to use Color Director as a standalone app, you can simply open it. Okay, then you can drag and drop your media to the media room. So the media room is showing here. And remember that Color Director is a storyboard mode editor. So it's not like the timeline mode. So if you want to edit a footage, you need to select it and add it to the storyboard by click on the plus icon, or you can simply drag and drop it to the storyboard. Then next we'll go to adjustment. And for the tilt shift effect, we want the top upper part and the lower part be blurred while the center part remain clear. So you can go to the regional adjustment tool, select the third one, the gradient mask, mouse over the graphic and drag down. You'll see now a mask has been created. You can adjust the position and the center place a little bit like this. Okay, once it's done, you can scroll down to find blur tool, set the blur degree higher. You see now the upper part is blurred. And the same way you can add a second mask, gradient mask from bottom to up. And the same, adjust the blur degree higher. So now that you see the center part is clear while the upper and lower part has become blurred, the video looks like this. Okay, so this is the tilt shift effect, how to do that. And with the gradient mask, we can also do some little trick, like this is original footage, and we want to make the footage in dual tone, like the upper part in orange and the lower part in purple, like this one, upper part in blue, in green, lower part in purple. So to do this, it's the same. We are using the gradient mask tool in Color Director. So let me select this footage. I use this one. Add it to timeline. Sorry, add it to storyboard. Go to adjustment. And the same, I want to create the first gradient mask from top. Then I scroll down to tint filter tool. So the tint filter tool is turning your video into a single tone. So for example, I want the upper part be in purple and set the intensity higher to this. So see the upper part has become purple toned. And next I create another gradient mask from the lower part and change it to the indigo blue and set the intensity higher. So see now the video is in dual tone. And you can play around with this, say a little bit green, a little bit yellow, a little bit red. You can play around with the settings here to see what kind of color mixture you like the most. So you can see a before and after comparison of the cloud after adding this dual tone color. And to make the cloud standing more out, you can also go to the HDR effect to highlight some detail of the video. So you can go to global adjustment and find HDR effect, set the glow strength a little higher and the strength of edges a little higher. So now that you can see the cloud has become more dramatic and it's with this HDR feel look more artistic. Okay, so this is using a mixture of a tint filter tool and gradient mask that you can create a dual toned video. And next demo, we'll be demonstrating how to do the sepia color. So we use this sample from Adele's latest music video, Hello. And this is a record-breaking single from Adele that's it's got 1 billion views only within 88 days, which is super great because it's the fastest growing video on YouTube in terms of view number. And it was released in next November, directed by the Canadian director Javier Dolan. And throughout the video, he's using, because this is a sad song, so he's using this sepia color, mainly composed by of dark green and the khaki colors, and to bring out to enhance the sadness of the song. And while it's using the IMAX camera and using larger aperture, so you can see the facial part of Adele is clear, while the edge part it's with the out of focus view, so that you can more focus on Adele's face. So we will show you how to do this with color director to make it to sepia color and create the blur effect around the four edges. Okay, again, moving back to color director, and we add this footage to storyboard. So the first thing we want to do is that because we want to turn everything to single tone and in khaki, a mixture of a khaki and dark green tone. So you can use the same tool, the tint filter. So I set it to here between red and yellow. Set the intensity higher. So now you'll see the color has changed to this sepia color, and you can play around with the color to see what is the real color you want. So for example, I set it to here. So now you'll see the video has become totally different by applying this tint filter effect. Okay, the next thing we want to do is that we want to blur the four edges while highlighting the face part. So you can go to the original adjustment tool, select this fourth step. It's called the radial filter that can create the mask in radial shape. You can do things like this, add a mask, that the face part, the part without mask will not be touched, while the red part is with mask. So the effect we add will be adding to the edge part. Next, we'll go scroll down and go to blur, set the blur degree higher. So now you'll see it's been created a perfect look that the edge of the video is blurred, while the facial, the central part, is in it's pretty clear that the edge part is out of focus look. All right. Next will be, wow, our last demo for today. I'm so happy. Okay, so this demo will show you how to use, again, the motion checking tool to do one other little trick to change the color of the little boy from blue to other color like green, orange, or red. Okay, and the trick is exactly the same as what we did in the John Travolta demo. So at this footage of the little boy, go to adjustment tab, and we'll use the motion tracking tool to select the close area in the video. Then click on the track button to track it throughout the video. Because this footage is slightly longer, it will take a little bit of time. So you'll see now the area with red frame means the area being selected inside of the video. So this path has become a series of motion mask after the tracking is done. Yeah, it's recording the position of selected area throughout the entire footage. So you can scroll back you'll see now that here's a mask being selected at the close part. And next thing we want to do is that we want to replace the color. So let's say we go to color replacement, select the blue part, we want to change it to say green. So it's in green. Or if you want to change it to orange, then it's become orange. Okay, so this is the tool which allows you to track the moving area in a video, and you can change the color in only on the selected area. And I think many of you probably seen a movie many years ago called The Pleasantville. It's not a very nice movie anyway, but it's using a very special technique that it's the video at the beginning, the movie at the beginning is a black and white tone, and in the middle there's some people starting to turn color, while other people and other background are still in black and white. So I want to only make the main figure in color and the background in black and white. So the technique is the same. You can, like, for example, I want to change the background, so I select inverse mask. Then I first untick the color replacement. Okay, now you can see the outside of the closed part has been selected. And next we will adjust the saturation, turn it to black and white. So now that you see only the closed part is in color while the background is in black and white. So this is exactly same technique that you can highlight something in your video while making other things in black and white with a color director. So this is the motion tracking tool. All right, well, that's for today's course. So a quick wrap up. Today we cover 3 parts. The first part is using Keyframe to control the animations and the effects in Power Director, and how to use Keyframe and what is timeline interface. Also we covered in this section. In the second section, we show you how to use mask and Chroma Key to remove the background in the video, and also show you how to use Color Director's motion tracking tool to remove the background, to change the background to green, and use Chroma Key to remove it. And the third part, we were showing several different skills in Color Director to do the tint shift, the tilt shift effect, and tint filter, and radial mask, and the sepia color, etc. So you can play with Color Director if you own it. All right, so that's for today's course, and we are here from CyberLink. And if you want to watch a recorded course, you can come back to CyberLink Learning Center tomorrow. To enter it, you can type www.cyberlink.com/learning, where you can access our learning center. And we got some exciting news to share, that we are adding some new features in Learning Center by end of March, including search feature, bookmark feature, and the watch history feature, so that you can keep your watch record on our Learning Center. So make sure you check, come back to visit Learning Center once in a while to check what's new. So you can also find like the complete John Travolta, Adele, and the Annoying Orange, and the BBA animation tutorials on our Learning Center, what we covered in earlier sections.